again tonight. And after doing last week pre-record, which still is recorded on Tuesday, I found I stay more on the course. I'm not distracted, because when I ask people to come into the room and they come into the room, I don't want to ignore them. So I'll say hi. And then if they say something, I'll reply, I'll say something back to them. And it kind of gets me a little off course and it kind of, it is a distraction. But what I am hoping and praying and planning to do is to have a lineup. I'm going to start having lineups where at least once a month, or however God sees fit, I want to try to get people to come in that I will have on my segment, on a segment, and they will be live, and we can talk mental health, because mental health matters. So without further ado, I'm here tonight to touch on the power of your past. Yes. And your past do have power, but it is you that controls that power. And when I say that, I mean what affects us and how it affects us and how we handle with the effects of what is affecting us. And my biggest thing is trauma, because as I've said previously before in videos and about trauma not being falling down, hitting your head, a car accident, that's the first thing we think when we say trauma, right? But it's evident that life experiences cause trauma, okay? Whatever it may be. And it can be life lasting, because if you don't ever treat a trauma, there's side effects, there's things that's gonna happen due to that trauma that you had experienced. And I find myself sometimes saying, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with me? And it's not even about what is wrong with us. It's about what has happened to us. And I found that very profound when I read, not read, because I'm still reading. This is a great book. So far, it's called What Happened to You. And Oprah Winfrey, which is not one of my favorite people, but she teamed up with a Dr. Bruce Perry, which he's a psychologist. And with reading this, I found out, I touched some things that I seen that were, I read, that are things that I've went through. And that's the thing about reading something and you're seeing it. It is what it is. As opposed to somebody telling you, oh, you're like this, you're like that. And you could just brush them off like, oh, what do they know? But if you sit down and you read something and it hit a nerve and you're like, oh, ouch. And you can't change what you're reading. And you can leave with that, what you read, and be like, food for thought. I've experienced that. I've been suppressing that. I haven't dealt with that. And that's what we fail to do, is to really deal with some things that we've experienced. And it's hard. It is. And the easiest way to deal with it is not to deal with it, right? But there's lasting effects by not dealing with things, by not talking about them, by not, hitting it head on. Like, I need to really get in tune with what's going on in my life. And then it's not what's wrong with me, it's what happened to me. you know, and as most of you all know, is how I've even became to be where I am today is because of our son, Anthony. Anthony was a gifted, loving son, brother, uncle, nephew, grandson, husband. Anthony was all that. And for those that do know him, you know who he was and what he was about. He was about love. Karen, what can he have been going through that he would suppress it to the point of drinking himself to death? And that's what, and saying that takes a lot out of me, because it was real. That happened. And in order to deal with anything, you have to accept it. So I now reflect back to where I knew he was kind of like going through some stuff, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. But I never took the time out to try to figure out what happened and what part I played in what happened during Anthony's childhood, coming up, growing up. But what I would always say to him when I seen him like struggling with something, I was like, what's wrong with you? And as I'm getting deeper into this whole mental health, he didn't know what was wrong with him. And that's what we struggle with things, and we're like, what is wrong with me? But it's not really what is wrong with you. You got to dig a little deeper to what happened to me. You know, what affected me to want to drink? What has affected me to want to get high? What has affected me to want to commit suicide, to no longer want to deal, to want to just give up? What has happened to me to allow me to be in this dark place, to not want to smile, not want to be happy, just want to be under covers, just want to be hid, just want to be dark? And that's the key to having power to your past. Because what we tend to allow is we allow our past to have power over us, which causes us to result in dealing with things by drinking, by getting high, depression. And a lot of us, we are depressed. So how do we make ourselves happy? We go have a drink. We go get high, because what we do is we don't want to deal with what is causing the depression. We don't want to deal with what is really causing us to want to drink. So in this book, What Happened to You, the doctor breaks down, in which I learned that in Psychology 101, is our brain is like set up. There's levels to our brain. You know, we have transmitters in our brain that certain things trigger us. And not only that, is that you have levels to part of your mind, part of your brain is the thinking part, the creativity part, that part where you learn things. And some of us, we get to a part where that learned behavior that we consume as growing up, we carry that with us that is our norm. For instance, those, you have people that are so easy to embrace abuse that have been abused. So it's like they get into these relationships that are abusive because that always made them think that if I'm being hit, that means they love me or they care. And it becomes our normal that it's okay to be beaten. That's not normal, and it's not okay. But it can become someone's normal because that's all they know. That's what their life was about. They didn't really know about what it is to cuddle, and they shy away. Like if people try to love upon them, they feel that something's wrong with that person, or they don't. How can they love me when they're being kind to me? How can they love me when they act like they care? Caring means to come in the house and get smacked in the face. Oh, you know I love you though. Love is not supposed to hurt. Love is kind. Love's supposed to be gentle. Love is supposed to really care. So that's where we have to sit and analyze. And that's where therapy comes in. And that's how therapy makes you makes you become transparent. Not transparent, but vulnerable, because you open up to your past. You open up to all the things that you just don't want to talk about. But in order to not let your past have power over you, you have to have power over your past and tell your past, that's just what you were to me. You were my past, and I'm gonna rise up above my past, because my past can either help me or hinder me. So I'm here to encourage somebody and to inspire them that it's okay to seek your past and understand that what happened to you wasn't your fault. And what happened to you don't mean that you have to continue to allow that to have power over you. Because until you get to a place in your life that, you know what? No more. I'm not going to do this no more. I'm going to deal with it. I'm not going to allow it to hinder me, because that's what we sometimes tend to allow our power to do. Learn behavior. Oh, well, that's what we know. But in order to change, scratch that. In order to grow, you got to change some things. And in order to do that, you have to allow your past to no longer have power over you. And you have to gain that power over your past. And tell yourself, I have the victory over what I've been through. I have the victory of what people may say I am. Because they're not here. They can't judge me no more. And I've been one of those judgers. I've been someone that would look at someone and be like, oh, she's like that because of this. Or she's a hot mess. No, it's not my place to say what somebody is. Because you know what? I don't know their story. I don't know what they've been through. I don't know how they're walking around allowing their past to have that type of power over them, because they just don't know how to relinquish it. They don't know how to let go of that past to gain the power over it. But I'm here to tell you, you can gain power over it. Will it happen today or tomorrow? Maybe not. But hold on to the hope of knowing that you have the power. No matter how bleak it may get, no matter how dark your days may get, you have the power over your past. You just have to keep encouraging yourself and telling yourself, I can do this. I know you can do it. It may take a lot of work. And that's the thing. Anything worth having takes some work. And that's and that means even your peace. Because in order to gain that peace, you got to get out of that past. You got to allow yourself to say, you know what? I came through that. I'm rising above that. No matter how much it has hurted, no matter how much my past have a hold on me, I can shake those chains off of me. I could get out of bondage of my past. I could throw away my past to where it don't have no more power over me. Because you know what? Your past will never go away because it is a part of you. Because it is a part of who you are. But you can't allow it no longer to reign over you. You can't allow it no longer to have hold of you. Because you are going to take that power back. Because what happened to you, yep, it did. It happened. It happened. And you can never undo it. But you know what you can do? You can live with it. And you can take power over your past. So I'm here to encourage and inspire someone right now, tonight, to look back over their life. Reflect. It's okay. Put down the bottle. Because you can never drink your pain away. You can never drink your pain away. And saying that, I listened to one of my son's songs, and that's Anthony. It was drinking my pain away. And a lot of his music that I have listened to since his passing, a lot of it, there was pain. He was struggling. And life does that because it's hard. And I always say that. It ain't easy. Life is tough. To navigate life takes a lot because we have to deal with some things that we just don't want to deal with. We have to see things that we just don't want to see. We have to be accountable for some things we don't want to be accountable for. But in order to get a hold of it, in order to gain that power, you have to address it. You have to talk about it. You have to talk yourself through some stuff. And it's okay. And it's okay not to always be okay. And you're going to have to go through some stuff. Even while you're in this stuff, you still got to go through some stuff. Even though you still struggling with your past and you trying to get power over your past, there's still going to be some obstacles that you're going to have to go through. And it's okay. Because you know what? In the end, you will have the victory. You will have the victory. So like I said tonight, take 5 minutes and just sit back and just reflect. Go back. If you got to go dig. And sometimes we got to dig real deep. We got to get down to the belly of it. And we got to have to think about some things we don't no longer desire to think about. Because you know what? When that thought come to mind, we go grab a bottle. We go grab something. Or we go under the covers. And we don't want to deal with it. But it's time. It's time we deal with it. It's time that we get to the nitty gritty of it, the grunt of it, the dirt of it, where it gets real messy. It's okay. Because you know what? There will be a message that will come out of your mess. And that message will be, you have the victory. And you never know what you're going through can help somebody else. And like I said, this all takes time. But you got to give yourself the time and be patient with yourself. Be kind to your mind. Because you can do it. I believe in you. So, today, you're going to regain back the power that your past had. Because you have the power. I love you, and especially you. Thank you for taking the time out to listen. And just be kind to your mind. You got this. No matter how you may not see it today. Take your time. Because it's going to take time. But you can do it. God bless you. And have a good evening.